Welcome everyone to this virtual repair event. We are out of Lund and Malmö, Sweden. So I'm sitting in Lund, but I'm also a volunteer and host with Repair Cafe Malmö. And we're one of the oldest repair cafes in Sweden, but we only began a few years ago in 2017. So we're late bloomers here in Sweden, but hoping to catch up and grow the repair movement here and be helping out. And one of the, I guess, positive sides of COVID, if you can call it that, has been that we've been able to connect with other repair groups around the world, including the Fixit clinics in the US, which is where I'm originally from. So it's been quite exciting to be working with repairers around the world. And that's what we have today. We have repairers from all over, and we also have participants from both sides of the Atlantic. What we'll be doing, the format for today is we will have 5 minutes per presenter. And I'll be calling out and seeing who's here and who's presenting. We're gonna have Lindsay with the sewing machine and her husband Malcolm with the video of the sewing machine up first. They have a sewing machine that they're trying to sew masks in response to COVID. So we're gonna help them out, remembering that we have 5 minutes to present what is the problem, some ideas on troubleshooting. After we go through each of the participants here, we will have the option of going into breakout rooms and having repair volunteers working with each of the participants here to further make progress on the repairs and go a bit deeper if we can do that. Okay, so Lindsay, do you want to introduce your sewing machine to us? Let's see here.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself first.
Good.
So I've had this sewing machine since I was in my very early 20s. I'm now in my 60s. I've not used it since I was in my 20s. I decided to get it out to try and make masks for COVID. And I got it out, I set it up, I threaded it, having had to look it up because I couldn't remember. And I put my foot on the pedal and it blew up. So there was a big bang and a lot of smoke. So I just turned it all off and got my husband to look at it because I was scared of it. So he'd better tell you from then what he did.
Okay, so I replaced the capacitor, and what I'll do now is go through the motions. I have one of these which tells us whether we have electricity. So we know electricity. I'll turn on the switch. You can hear it bleeping, so we have electricity. Oh,
It's not.
oh, it's not bleeping.
It was.
Should bleep. That
That's
bleeps. And it bleeps at the top. You see the light flashing. And I turn the machine on because I've disconnected the button, and nothing happens. The light doesn't come on the
noise,
machine.
they won't hear you. Don't have the noise going.
Oh, sorry.
It's louder than you.
Sorry, yes. Yes. So what I did was, the original fix was the capacitor blew, which is there. Mustn't touch it because it's still live. And I replaced the capacitor, but I understand that this is only for legal reasons. It doesn't affect the workings of the sewing machine. But certainly power's coming through. If I turn it back up, well, we can hear that power is coming through to the...
You've shown that. That's it.
Ah.
You've shown that.
Okay, yeah, so that's the problem, essentially. Do you want to take over, Lynn?
Can you plug it in and give it a quick try so we can see what it does?
Well, even before that, does the machine turn by hand? Does the knob on the end, will it work manually?
Yeah.
As opposed to
manually, you can see it going up and down, yeah. No problem at all with that. It's actually turned on at the moment.
Okay, first step in your troubleshooting.
Yes.
There is a motor inside the sewing machine.
There's what?
You can have two issues. One, that the motor itself is defective and doesn't turn, even though it gets the appropriate electrical signal. The other, that the motor is not getting the signal, even though it is working. And the only way to check that is using a voltmeter on the connection of the motor itself and see when you are turning it on and pressing the pedal if you are getting any voltage, any signal there or not.
Okay, so this is taking the sewing machine apart. I don't have a voltmeter. That's the problem. I'm not an electrician.
Unfortunately, that's the only way to troubleshoot it. You have to have the appropriate basic tools like a voltmeter to do that.
I think that's absolutely right, Malcolm. It is something when Lindsay said that you only had the gadget that tells you if electricity is flowing. The only thing I wanted to check with you, because it's something I've fixed a couple of myself, is you're trying to make this go by pressing a foot pedal. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's possible that if it's not the motor, that there may actually be a fault somewhere in the foot pedal itself. I've just recently repaired one of those, and because the machine is dependent upon the foot pedal to provide varying different levels of electricity.
That's right. It's a rheostat, isn't it?
It is. Does the foot pedal have a low and high switch on it as well as the pedal itself?
Oh, it doesn't. It's a very simple machine. It's that's it there. There's no connections. The only way of getting it apart is pulling the side off and pulling these lugs out that are here.
Yeah. Have you already done that?
To do that yet? Because I thought that might be an issue.
Well, I think actually the point about needing a meter is really very important. It is something I mentioned to Lindsay when you first got this over to me. I think that we're going to be able to help you a lot better if we can determine what's going on.
Yeah, that yellow piece of equipment you have is terrific to find wires inside the wall, but it's not meant for this kind of troubleshooting.
No. All it's saying is that there's power going to that area of the equipment.
There is power in there, but often if you just have the power cord plugged in, this will give you the signal and tell you there is power.
Okay, guys, we're getting in too deep here. We got to get out of the weeds. Let's back out.
And if you have more troubleshooting, we can take that up in a breakout session or put it into the chat. The things that we can do.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot of things that we're saying are you're going to need a multimeter, you're going to need a voltmeter, you're going to need a voltmeter.
Correct.
You have something beyond what they have now, add to the chat. We will go now to Mary Louise, who has a vacuum cleaner in Berkeley, California. Mary Louise, I see that you can unmute yourself and tell us about your vacuum cleaner.
Hello, good morning from Berkeley. Or actually Alameda, an island in the bay. So I have a wind tunnel, and the suction works through here, but the last part into the base, it'll start to suck up and then it kind of just kicks it out behind it. And so as far as I can tell, this whole section is fine, but it's the last part in the base that is a problem.
Okay.
Maybe I should get on the floor.
Okay, we'll have a few questions for you, I think, here.
Yes, have you cleaned and washed all the filters that you need to clean and wash in that particular vacuum?
Well, the filters are okay, yes.
They are.
I bet this is a clog. There's a clog.
It is clogged in the lower section.
I think it is too, but I don't seem to find a way in that final section to be able to get in there.
Can you remove the hose from the base?
Let me move this down below. This part of hose I cannot remove.
Okay, you have to open the bottom of the section where the rotating brushes are.
Yeah.
Turn it 90 degrees. Yeah, okay. You have to open this section, take those brushes, the rotating brushes out, and you will see there the end of that other hose. And the plug
I think I've done that.
that section right there. So you have to take this.
This is breakout room material. Okay, so
yeah, I think I've done that. So I'll be prepared to do that again with you guys.
Okay, yeah, why don't you do that?
Thank you.
And then we'll meet you in a breakout room and see you inside.
We get to a breakout room.
Okay. Also, I should say, so far we have maybe the Lindsay's sewing machine, if you have more pointers beyond needing a voltmeter, which they do not have at the moment. And then we'll have Mary Louise's vacuum cleaner as a breakout room. So you can write in the chat if you already know that you are going to be going to that breakout room. So we know, Mary Louise, you're going to that breakout room, no problem. Yes?
Well, just a comment for, is it Lindsay?
Yep.
The sewing machine. I put in the comments that I have a similar one, a different, model. And sometimes where the foot pedal plugs into the machine, I don't think this is what's happening, but I do find with mine that the cord, I sometimes now have to monkey around with it.
Okay, so it could be
to get the power again. So I don't know if there could be.
Okay.
Once again, with a voltmeter, you can establish that.
Okay, good. Then we are trying to get, and Lindsay also has more support with her repair cafes in the UK to repair groups. So we'll see where we can get with that. Mary Louise will get a breakout room for you organized, and we're gonna see, is Noga here with her toaster? And presenting that.
So I here have a toaster of the KitchenAid variety, and it has decided to strike and not work anymore. I took it apart and put it back together. Now these two little lights work, but the toaster itself does not make bread. It is also a toaster of the opening up and making.
Do you have an ohm meter?
A what?
Do you have an ohm meter?
No, I have this.
That doesn't help.
Lights up if there is a current.
Understand, that doesn't help. You need an ohm meter because very likely the heating element itself is open or the wiring to it. And the only way to find out is using an ohm meter. And with that, very rapidly we can establish what the problem is.
But the parts are cheap. So I just did this. Jessica, if you spotlight me for a second, I'll show people.
Yeah.
So on the top side, there is a thermostat, and it has a rating. On the bottom side, inside a white sleeve, is a thermal fuse. Okay, one of those two is probably bad.
And with an ohm meter, you can figure it out.
They're very expensive to order from China, but we do need the voltmeter to figure it out. But you could also just buy the parts and swap these two in and out. And
we can look up. I should say also, Noga is joining us from Jerusalem. So we've gone back and forth from Europe to the US and then to Jerusalem, Israel. So we're going back and forth. So this is something to remember also when we're looking at equipment, that we can have different setups in different countries too, different prices. But I think for some of these spare parts, it is true we're ordering from China, so it's very similar setup. We might be able to walk through more what you need, Noga, specifically, and even look for those in a breakout room. If anyone wants to help with what are the next steps for her in solving this problem that she has. Anything else we want to say before we move on? Okay. Do we have Cal or Kelly here with a floor lamp? I did not see anyone here with those names, but it could be that you're here under a different name. I just want to make sure. Going once, going twice. All right, that spot is now going to be taken up by Chris with the handheld vacuum from Velarde, New Mexico. Can you show us your vacuum, Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're there.
Okay. So these, even though they're portable, they're not cheap, and I've been through about 3 of these units. I've tried to take them to shops to be repaired and tried to get the company that manufactures them to repair them, and they don't design them for that. But I did some research on YouTube, and I found out that I'm pretty sure that the problem with this is one of the lithium batteries, there are 4 lithium batteries, has gone out. And if you take apart the machine, unit comes apart like this pretty easily. You can get at the battery pack, and with some soldering, you can take out the one lithium battery, you can test the batteries, and then figure out the one that's not working and then replace it. So that's what I'm hoping to do, and learn how to solder. And the problem, I guess, how I decided or understood that the problem was probably the battery was that the machine works, but it only works for about 30 seconds, and then it stops. And then I can restart it again and it'll work, but it'll only work for a few seconds. And that's kind of the classic sign of the lithium battery problem. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is.
Do you know, I'm beginning to think that everyone that comes on here needs to be provided with a multimeter, because that's kind of like three out of four. What I'd be saying to you, and I'm sure others will say the same thing, is that the battery packs will have a number of lithium cells. I did this recently with a radio controlled model car, and I found that it had 8 cells and one of them was dead, but I could only find that out by putting a meter across each cell in turn. Do you have a multimeter?
I don't.
Right.
But
the reason I'm saying that is that it would help you identify if you're going to rebuild the battery pack, which quite rightly you could do, is which of the cells is not working. Or you could buy a complete battery pack which will have all the cells together, in which case you just simply replace the whole thing. But it will involve some soldering, as you say. How do you feel? Yeah, someone's just saying on the chat, cheap multimeters are under $20. It's the same over here. They are inexpensive pieces of kit, and they are so unbelievably useful for almost everything we've been looking at so far.
$7 from Harbor Freight.
There we are. See,
multimeter.
got to go to Canada to pay that price.
But if you need to solder, do you have a soldering equipment? Do you have that available?
You know, I lived through all my tools. I have a farm here in New Mexico, and I actually found a soldering rod with the bars and everything. So I actually have that. I didn't realize I did, but I do.
But you are putting the cart before the horse. Before you start soldering, you have to establish which part you have to take out and resolder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the choice is going to be whether you do the whole pack. Is the pack molded with plastic around it, or are they individual cells that you can see?
It's as far as I can tell, I haven't fully taken this apart, but I've watched videos of them taking similar units apart. It's a plastic with the 4 batteries in it. It's a plastic case.
Quite honestly, it's easy now just to buy a complete pack. I mean, again, that's not particularly expensive. But as opposed to rebuilding it yourself, that's another way. That's another way around.
And the other thing I wasn't sure, you know, Amazon is my go-to, especially out here in rural New Mexico. I don't have a lot of shopping options, but I wasn't sure how to purchase the right battery for this unit, and to make sure I didn't make a mistake.
Okay, have you looked at the battery pack? There are a number of cells, and they are connected to each other, usually with a strip of metal. Have you looked at that?
I haven't fully taken this apart yet. I did take out the screws, so
right,
I will.
Yeah, if you keep
often
trying.
those cells are not soldered together; they are spot welded.
Yeah.
Okay, and by looking at it, you can tell. And based on that, you have to do it a different way.
Yep. So that might be the next thing if you want to keep to see what it looks like. And it sounds like we also need, if we were in real life repair event right now, we would be passing around the multimeter, wiping it afterwards in COVID, but be able to share them. But we can maybe try some other troubleshooting and maybe get into it. Okay, thank you for showing us that. And again, that's another breakout room option. We're going to go to Miranda, who also has a sewing machine, and she's coming from Toronto, joining us. Miranda.
Oh, wait a minute, we've got a lot of echo from somebody. Dave, I think you were logged in twice, and I think your microphones are zapping us. Dave West, I suspect. So.
All right, let me. Okay, but you are ready, Miranda.
Yep, I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'll just flip my camera so you can see. Oops, there we go. So I have this sewing machine. I have this, I bought it secondhand, and I've done a sample stitch. So it seems to be, whoopsies, sorry. It seems to be stitching on the top, and then it stops. And then on the bottom side, it's not really picking up, whoopsies, it's not really picking up the bobbin thread.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't know why. So yeah, as you can see, I got like maybe 3 stitches and then it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
you have
it.
You have 3 options here. These are thread tension issue most likely. So either your top or bobbin's tension is not set right. If they are both correct, then you can have a timing issue where the bobbin turning and the needle coming down are not happening at the right interval in between, and that has to be modified. Most likely it's a tension on the bottom that you have an issue with.
Oh, super. I don't know how to fix that. So
do you have a manual for this sewing machine?
No, but I found the manual on YouTube.
Exactly. I wanted to suggest, I looked at it before and I found a manual on YouTube. So go through that and make sure that your tensions, both for the top and the bottom, are correctly adjusted.
Okay, I would really prefer somebody to maybe walk me through it because I'm very unfamiliar with the machine.
Yep, and I think we have the problem there. If maybe you can put the manual that you found on YouTube into the chat, the link to it, and then we can see if anyone who wants to go through with the sewing machines, maybe we can put the 2 sewing machines together too in a breakout room. And go through that. So if anybody wants to even right now go and watch that video and be ready for a breakout room, you can do that. We're going to go to Eider next with a toaster. And are you ready, Eider? I am going to.
Yes, it's Eider though. So.
Eider, thank you.
Yeah, Eider helps if you speak French.
You're joining us from Boulder, Colorado?
Physically not exactly, but that's fine. Yeah, sure.
Where are you joining us from?
This building is in Superior.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah. So like 15 minutes from Boulder. So,
okay.
Start my video? It's already on. Okay. Just so you all know, I do use neutral pronouns. They, them, there. It's right here. Singular version of they, in case that comes up. So I dumpstered this toaster. So as much as I know, it hasn't worked since it's been in
Eider, can you clean your screen a little bit?
I cannot. Apparently, I found out it's water damaged, my camera, so yeah.
We have difficulty seeing what you are showing.
Right. I mean, it's just water damaged. So that might be the next thing to fix. If you can't see, I might switch to my phone later on.
The higher up you hold it, actually, the clearer the picture is. It's more on the bottom of the screen. That is, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Can you close the shade behind you? Close the shade behind you, if you can. Both of them. There's another one right directly behind you as well.
It's not gonna really. It's just gonna make it dark. So.
No, there's another one.
It's a nice day.
There's another one.
Yeah, it's my camera. It's water damaged, so it's kind of what we have to work with now. Like I said, I can switch to my phone later if need be. Not that I have much time today, so I don't feel like we'll get to this, but I'll just explain what the issue is. Well, the issue is it doesn't stay on, it doesn't hold it. So when it's plugged in, there's no light that comes on or anything. Like I said, I dumpstered this, so I'm not familiar with what happened to it, but it's like not working, obviously. But ironically, like everyone has been saying, get a multimeter, get a multimeter. I have a multimeter because I got it after being told to get it for this project, so, and other projects. So can you see if the wire inside is intact? So aside from, this is the second time I'm bringing this to a repair cafe, Fixit clinic, because I didn't have a multimeter. So I attended a repair cafe that happens every Thursday in various parts of Belgium. And so we did take this apart and everything. So it, yeah, like somebody said, I was here at a different Fixit clinic. But so the issue is the little magnet in here is not holding the thing down.
Well, because it's an electromagnet, and if it doesn't get power, it won't hold.
Right, so sufficient current needs to go through the heating elements in order to hold the magnet down. So the question is, maybe it even has a bad plug just at the end, because someone would yanked it out of the wall again and again and again. It could be as simple as that.
So when I did with a spoon, you know, a wooden spoon, hold down the, you know, this, when this was opened and everything, and held it down, it would power up. So it would start working. So it's just that it doesn't hold down, essentially.
It could be a contact. Again, with the, once we have it in pieces with the ohm meter, we can figure that out.
Yep. So I could go in the breakout room with the other toaster. We can have a toaster party.
Yes, we can have a toaster room with some toasting going on. Yeah. Okay, so we have, yeah, because we still had a lot more troubleshooting to do with Noga's toaster as well. So definitely we can have a breakout room for toasters. Thanks for presenting, Ada. And Sandeep, are you here from Melbourne, Australia, joining us? I think it is quite early there. And I think you are returning with a smart LED TV. I see two Sandeeps in the
yes, it is.
Same. Hi.
Same. I just logged in through my phone as well in case I need to show something closer. Okay. So yeah, I have. Hi everyone. Hi Jessica. Hi Peter, and a few others. I know Frank. Nice to meet you all. And hi everyone. So I have this LG TV. It's an LED TV, and yeah, here you can see it's all open and ready for everyone. So I figured out that the main, not the main board, the distribution, the power distribution board, if it's called that, it had a fuse blown, or the fuse was not, it was open. I have a multimeter, so I checked. And I tried to replace the fuse, and when I switched it on, it blew off. I can show that to you a bit later. Now, if anyone can have a closer look at it and say if something else is wrong before it has to go to the tip, or that would be great.
Have you tried with the replacement fuse with everything unplugged from the power supply? Because all the other boards are connecting to the power supply board with a connector. So what you want to do is unplug all the others and see if it blows the fuse. If it does, you have a problem with the power supply itself. If it doesn't, then it's one of the boards that causes it. And the way I usually do it is, instead of putting in another fuse, I put in a same value circuit breaker. So whenever it blows, all I have to do is press the button to reconnect it, and I still have the fuse. And that way, one by one, I plug the other boards in and see which one causes the fuse to blow.
So you mean to disconnect the power board from the main board? Is that what you meant?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I haven't tried that. I can see that there are some wires going from that, and there's a plug, so I could do that.
We can help you. We can help you with that. Sort out
great.
which one.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we can make a breakout room for this as well.
And we should visually inspect for any puffy capacitors, because these power supplies on these TVs are legendary for having bad capacitors that need to be replaced.
Yeah, that's what I suspect. I can see that there is one which has got a black smoky mark around it.
Not a good sign.
Yeah.
Do you have a multimeter?
Yes,
this is why I said that you need to test the power supply board with none of the others plugged in. Because if you have a problem with the power supply itself, that's what you need to repair.
Yeah.
If it's one of the other boards, you don't need to fix the power supply.
Yeah, but I don't know how to check the capacity with a multimeter. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. We'll meet you.
Sandeep gets a major award. It's 4 o'clock in the morning in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Oh yes, and winter time. That's right. Everything's flipped. Yeah, but very welcome. Okay, so we'll definitely set up that. We have one more presenter, Chris, about the soldering. Do you want to give us we've heard that you have gotten a lot of feedback and been around the world in repair. If you want to give us where we are with this repair, those of us who haven't been following the whole story, where are we with it now? Let's find Chris. I think I have the wrong.
Wrong, Chris. You want C. Florovsky.
Yeah. Let's see. Chris, can you unmute yourself? And Chris is coming to us from Brisbane, California today. Let's see.
Chris, you're still muted.
Yeah.
We can't.
Which Chris?
Christina.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. What happened? I'm using my iPad, and okay. When you went to go record, anyway, long story. So, so fan stopped working. I came to a repair cafe a couple of weeks ago. Brian and Danny and Howard worked with me. We identified some diodes that needed to be replaced. Brian told me what to order. I've ordered it. Frank loaned me a soldering iron, not this Frank, another Frank. And I have removed the identified fried diodes, and we're hoping that's all that needs to be replaced. And we're ready to put in the fresh new ones and see if it works, and if not, maybe do some more troubleshooting.
I think, Jessica, those that were involved in this originally, it may only be me and Danny here today. I don't know whether that's, I know that Howard is not. He was involved. I'm just trying to think who else was involved with it. It was a trans-world effort. We covered,
yeah.
It was the US and Belgium and the UK, but we got there. I think there's certainly Danny is here. I'm not sure if anyone else is involved in this, but
yeah, the fellow from El Cerrito, I'm forgetting his name. He had that wild colored background. Peter, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy. Yeah. I don't think he's here, Peter, is he?
No, I don't see him today. And I did ask him to show up. But also credit goes to Frank, because Frank actually had a soldering kit and was able to drive up to deliver it to Chris. So this is us bridging the virtual world and the real world, especially as we move out of shelter in place. So, you know, this great idea that we can maybe make it possible to get tools to people or parts.
Is that the same Frank same Frank that sent the instructions, the soldering instructions, because they were really
yes. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, look at that. That's really professional stuff. That's great.
You like that?
Yeah, we'll just look at that. That's good. Yeah, let's not bother with anything else. It's just so impressive. You even got the thing to clean the bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, Jessica, what I'm suggesting, if it's okay with Danny, is that perhaps we will stick with this, just because we've been with it now for some time, but that's up to you, I guess.
No, it is up to the volunteers, which breakout room you want to go into. Now in the chat right now, I'm going to which breakout rooms We have, so Chris is, I'm going to call soldering. We're going to have sewing machines. I'm going to put both sewing machines because, again, we can see how far we get with Lindsay's with tips that don't involve a voltmeter, but we have Miranda's as well that does have a troubleshooting YouTube video that she wants a bit of help going through. We have toasters, we know that, and we have Ader. Ader is coming back, so as soon as they come back, I can put them in the room as well. We have vacuums, 2 vacuums that are being further disassembled to see how far we can get with the vacuums. Sandeep's TV and soldering. I'm going to post those in there. If you can let me know which room you want to go into in the chat, it will take me a few minutes to get the rooms going with everybody in them. But we also want to make sure that we get a couple of volunteers in each one. So if you see everybody going into one room, but you maybe know something about the other rooms, then if you could please also go in there. Yes.
My grandfather told me an important thing as a young lad: get yourself tools, learn how to use them, and then when the economy goes bad and money is worth nothing, you'll be able to do something for your neighbors. And they may have something you can eat. And I never thought that would ever come to be true. But now where are we?
Well, Fixit Clinic is part of the green recovery. That's
Yeah.
part of what we're trying to do here, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I
it
thought
looks
my
like there
grandfather
was a
was crazy when I was
already.
8 years old, but now look at us.
Ader, what'd you say?
It looks like there was a battery already in it. This
Yeah.
is what it looks like. I guess I took the multimeter apart, which is ironic. They were just 2 screws. There was nowhere to, like, there was no
Put a battery
flap
in.
for it to check. Yeah, okay, well, take that. I'll just put it back on then.
But if it was working, then you should be fine.
Well, I didn't really check. Somebody mentioned if there's there's probably not a battery in it, so I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the cheap ones at our repair cafe come without batteries. So you have to put the first thing you do is put the battery. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, this wasn't an expensive one.
Yes, you have to report back from the sewing machine room. You're on mute.
Hi, you wanted to ask about sewing machine?
Yeah. You're still on mute.
Okay. The story is that we had a long session of teaching how to use how to set up the tension in a sewing machine, and that's fine.
That's Miranda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with Lindsay, it's just so frustrating and so difficult to do the debugging without a multimeter.
Yeah.
And checking for mains across the motor and that sort of stuff. So she is actually going on holiday on Monday, is passing my house, and she will drop it off on Monday.
Okay, and you're gonna have a multimeter checking it out.
I have I would think about 10 multimeters sitting, so we'll be all right. So thank you very much, and all is lovely.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, we heard that the sewing machines were not getting equal time. So thanks for
No. Okay.
drop in on your own breakout room 10 there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Quick fix. Yeah, thanks. Are you done for today, or did you want to go back to the original sewing room? Or?
No, I'm trying to give it up, really. No, it's fine. Thank you. I'm going to go and have something to eat now. And thank you very much. I really enjoyed that.
Well, it was great to have you, and thanks for your help. And I'm glad that everything worked out with Lindsay, that you're going to be able to help her.
Yeah, it's fine. I did some work on that long-running air conditioning unit over through Brian, and that was fascinating too. So yeah, there are several ongoing things, I think.
Great.
Okay.
Well, have a lovely evening.
And you, thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, good. So there's a resolve. Okay, Ader, we see multimeter intact.
And then I took these little bits, these, I don't know, these were in here, so.
Yeah, they don't
So,
need to go in.
well, I'm not sure which, I mean, I could read instructions, I'm not sure which one's going where.
Can you give us a close-up so we can see where there's 3 points?
There are 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the black cable into the one that says common, obviously. Then the red cable, you've got 2 choices.
And then the red cable, you said either one?
You don't want it in the one that says amps. You don't want that. You want it in the middle one that says has the ohm symbol. So put it in the middle, and now you're going to be able to read continuity.
Wow. Okay.
Now touch the 2 tips together, and you should read 0. When you
What's
have
the
it
control? What's the control knob? What's the control knob set for?
Put it in ohms and touch the tips together. Let's see if you get a 0.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't read the control knob.
Let me call my family member in the other room to come hold my phone so that I can actually do this.
Okay. Turn the controls to the left.
To the left.
Come here.
And
you need to hold my phone while I do this shit.
I can't read the control knob on the multimeter.
Yeah, he's getting help. Yeah, Chris, he's getting help.
Apparently, my family member's convinced that I'll get electrocuted if I don't wear shoes. So I don't know if that's an old age. I don't know if that's factual. Anyway, all right, and help.
Okay.
So just holding my phone. Okay, so it's not on obviously yet.
Turn the power switch on first, I guess. There is such a thing.
If there's a power switch, that's on, and then you're going to go to the left.
To the left, a
But
couple
just
of
turning the
notches
knob to the left will turn it on.
Oh, okay, not these buttons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back.
2.
That was right. You want to go left.
You want to go left or, yeah. There you go.
That's 200 mega. That's way high.
Go lower, or turn it more left.
To what number? Do you see the numbers?
It's kind of hard to see. It's jumping around so much, but
20.
Go down. You want to go down low. Go down to 200 ohms. So keep going a couple notches. Keep going. Keep going.
One more.
One more notch.
There you go.
Okay, that's 200 ohms. Nope, that went too far.
Yep.
Okay, that's 200 ohms. That's low ohms. That's low resistance. Now put your 2 tips together on your probes. Let's see what you get. Okay, good. Now put your fingers between the 2 tips and see what your finger resistance is. Believe me, it won't hurt you. Okay, good. Your fingers aren't wet and you're not getting any resistance. But if you had wet fingers, you'd read a resistance. Now, if you had that on high ohms, you'd actually read a resistance.
Okay.
And that's just a simple, basic electrical test that you can do anytime with a ohm meter. But that doesn't prove anything. That's just a meter check. Now you want to test the circuit in the device you're working on. Peter, shall we?
Okay, so the only thing I can think of is we want to check to make sure that electromagnet actually isn't broken. So the yellow tape thing has 2 leads coming out of it. Somehow we need to touch the open leads for that, but it looks like they go to the circuit board. So we'd have to take the circuit board apart.
Right.
But,
Let me see.
Can you
Over there.
can you determine what those two wires, which points they're connected to on the circuit board?
Oh, wait a minute. They're a little bit out. Like it looks like there's looks like it's a pull connector.
Oh yeah, and it's unsnapped.
If it's a quick connector, see if you can unplug it.
Yeah, but don't yank too hard. We can't see it from this angle.
What are we?
It sure looks like a quick connector.
It does.
What's a quick connector? I don't know what that is.
Well, it's
Are
not
we talking about
soldered.
the black cables?
No, the white plastic
This
piece.
too?
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
that
no, the
little-
white plastic piece on the board.
It's that little white
the wires
plastic
go
thing.
into the white plastic, yeah, and the white plastic does disconnect from the board.
So you're saying it's disconnected, maybe?
Or it could become disconnected and then you can check something.
Oh, so you want me to pull it out?
Well, maybe, but
Well, I think Peter thinks that it might be, that might be part of the problem.
Could be. Could be a bad connection right there.
Can I make a suggestion?
So should I pull it out? What?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Go for it, Chris.
How about if we get Ader to gently pull that plug out of the side of the circuit board, and see if the test probes can be inserted into the contacts inside that plug after it's been pulled out.
That's the next step, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, and after checking the electromagnet windings and plugging the plug back in, verify that it has in fact seated all the way into its socket. Ader, I'm going to suggest that you use like a narrow, thin, blunt object, like maybe a table knife, to see if you can gently pry that plug out of its socket.
and Mary Louise looks like she's back with her vacuum cleaner. Mary Louise, do you want to report back to us?
Yeah, while Ader's getting the knife or the blunt object to try to pry it out, Mary Louise, how did the vacuum go?
Just use it. Use that from. This is blunt. This is a sharp one. Okay, wait. Let me give you a blunt one.
Okay. Well, not really. Oh, it's all right. Let's move it. Oh, it's coming out really easily. Hold on. It's out. It's out already.
Maybe too easy.
Yeah.
Maybe too easy.
Okay.
Might have been loose.
Yeah. Can you just use your test probes to touch the contacts inside that plug?
So these two.
Yeah. Can you reach the metal parts in there with your test probe, or is the test probe too thick?
If he has a couple of pins or a couple of needles,
yeah,
and sticks those in, then we can test off of those.
Yeah. A pin, a needle, or a piece of
Or if
wire.
your test probes are thin enough on the end.
Yeah, or even a couple of staples from a stapler.
I mean, hold on. Let's see if this works.
Yeah.
That.
I'm not convinced he's making contact.
No, I think those tips are too tight, too big.
Well, it's saying 71 on the.
Now it's 7.
71. 71.0.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's getting there.
You can always use paper clips.
I mean, is that not a good reading? Or
70 ohms sounds good to me. Dave, what's your opinion?
The ideal way to test it is to make sure you got contact, and paper clips into the sockets sometimes helps, but
it keeps doing 71. Hey, can you film the thing? Yeah. See it, 71? Is that not accurate, you don't think?
1 ohm?
71.
71 ohms.
1 ohm or 17, I couldn't tell.
71.2.1.071. So that's for this one. Then there's also this situation with the black. I don't know if that's something.
Right now, we're interested primarily in the electromagnet.
Yeah, the electromagnetic coil should probably be between, I would think, 50 and 200 ohms.
Well,
which it is. That's a big range.
That would be in the ballpark, but it would have to be steady. And that's tough when you're holding it by hand and making poor contact. You know, contact is not going to be really solid with methodology being used here.
Okay, so
Well,
what
he got
is-
70 ohms pretty constant. I think that's good.
Yes.
70 is probably in the ballpark then. I mean, I would buy that.
Yeah. So are we saying we need it plugged back in more securely?
Yeah, I'm suspicious of the wire and the plug now.
let's plug it back in and can we do a live current check with this thing open?
How does the plug look as far as cleanliness? Does the wire show any signs of being?
Looks cleaner than our toaster.
Wire look any heated up? You know, any kind of overheated?
Nothing out of the. Like, it looks good. I think this toaster stopped working pretty early on, and so these people just threw it away. You know.
Okay.
Why is this very clean?
It's cleaner than our toaster. Like. Toaster oven.
Non-working toasters stay cleaner.
This is getting okay. Why is it being so difficult to put back in?
So you need pliers to hold it?
No.
So what I've seen happen is that the toaster basically, people yank the cord, they yank it out of the wall from the cord enough that they basically start to separate. It's hidden. You don't get to see, you know, you separate right there.
Yes.
But that if he holds it and pushes it in a little bit, that works sometimes.
Well, I'm okay. It's at an angle. It looks the same like when I pulled it out. So tight in here, you can't see anything. Well, anyway, I don't know if you can see. It's at an angle, a little bit, plugged back in. It's not like this black and white one that's more straight. It's at an angle a little bit.
You don't have to put the lid or the handle knob back on, just enough to have us test it.
Enough to be able to test it live, power, without touching anything electrical and getting hurt.
Well,
very carefully. Yeah.
Good.
Hold it. You see where I'm going like this. Wait, no. See where it goes. Well, it's not. Hold on. Okay. You know where the fire extinguisher is?
Okay, is it heating?
Heating up.
Yes.
Yep. It's heating like it was earlier.
Good.
It's just not staying down. That's the only issue. It's not staying down for some reason.
Okay, so there should be some kind of a latching mechanism that keeps it down while it stays heating.
And that's the electromagnet that is supposed to keep it down. The
Right. Once there's
electromagnet-
sufficient current through the nichrome wire, it's supposed to then, that electromagnet energizes, keeps it down. That's supposed to be the mechanism. So I know those contacts, I still want to clean those. I can't see if those two contacts on the right-hand side are dirty, but I want to just run an emery board through those suckers or some alcohol. Clean those tabs off on the right-hand side there.
I'm gonna get some, what are those called? Nail file?
Mm-hmm.
The nail file is a good idea. Even some,
Okay, unplug it before you do anything.
Yeah.
oh yeah, unplug it.
Yeah, it's unplugged.
Okay.
Even better than a nail file is wet and dry sandpaper folded in half, so you've got two.
Oh, we do have sandpaper, yes.
The problem with a nail file is it's usually got a rough side and a fine side on opposite sides, but you're not giving an equal.
And that's not gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Equal burnishing to both contacts.
Is there a way we could hold a
Wet it? That's an extra wet it.
Is
So
there
I
a way?
have something.
Could we put a metallic object against the electromagnet to see if it's really magnetic?
Yeah, that's a metallic object.
Again.
Good thing.
Okay, hold on, one thing. So is this fine? This is 300 and yeah, 320. Very fine.
Yeah, just cut a small enough piece so that you can get it in there and file those and get the. It's the copper discs. It's the preceding those little copper nubs. You want to make sure those are really don't have any carbonization on them. They do look good, but I don't know. Just I've had so much success with that in the past.
And then you were saying, so it's not this magnet that's not holding, it's the one, this one that doesn't seem to be sticking. Is that, you want to test the magnetic power of this one, or?
Well, that's not a magnet, that's the shoe. The electromagnetic coil would be what is attracted to that.
The thing with the yellow tape around it.
The thing you saw with the yellow body with the two white wires to it, that's the electromagnet. And the piece that was dangling, that's the shoe. That white thing there, that's the electromagnetic shoe that it's supposed to attach to. So when it's energized, that yellow body with the two white wires, that should energize, and anything that's got iron in it should be attracted to it. So a screwdriver should stick to it.
Cece's back with a report. Cece.
We lost her. She ran out of battery power, but I want to record this and say, just make sure when you're checking your tension, go through the same process and make sure there's no opposite color dots on the opposite side. And you want none of the light colored thread on one side and none of the dark colored thread on the other side. That's what I wanted to tell her. And so hopefully she can pick that up because we lost her. Oh, sorry, Dave, for interrupting.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's good. Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Cece.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Okay. Cece, you're welcome to hang around, or you can leave. But it's always wonderful to see you.
You would have seen as well that I sent out a message to the breakout rooms, just asking them to start planning for wrapping it up for tonight and planning for the next session, any steps that they might want to continue. So hopefully they have 5 more minutes, and that's for us here in this room as well as we go through it as toaster. We have about 5 more minutes. So we have a couple of fixes we're currently looking at or troubleshooting, and then we will see and leave it with the next steps.
I was muted this whole time. Damn it.
Yeah, what were you trying to share with us?
Yep, go ahead, Ada.
I was just saying, so I clamp these, or I use sandpaper for them, but the issue is just the holding. So I think, so I don't know how this will do anything, but we'll see.
Yeah, because it goes in there.
The problem is it's just not magneticizing or whatever the fuck. Yeah, it's still not doing
the
it.
reason why I asked you to clean those is because what I've seen is that those, if they get too carbonized, they provide insufficient current. So even though it looks like the toaster's heating, it doesn't provide sufficient current to basically energize the electromagnet. But I could be wrong. I mean, you know, something different might be going on this time.
I'd like to zoom in on that switch mechanism real quick.
Which one?
Are there two switches? There are, but I only see one wire going in. Sometimes
I don't know
there's a second switch that's not used. Go to the left. Okay, go to the right. I'm sorry. Go to the right. Go to the drop-down block that forces the two switches. The ones that Peter was talking about cleaning. There's two switches. But there's only one wire, right?
There's only this wire.
There's only one wire on that pair of switches, but that would mean that that switch, there's, you know, those, move your finger up to the two brass contacts. Okay. There's one unused switch there that there's a wire going up to the one on the right, it looks like from what I can see, but there's no wire going to the switch on the left.
You're right.
That would,
I mean, no, it's a red, this red cable is going to the left side under there.
Okay, so there's,
you can't see it.
Both switches are in use then.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm seeing
connected.
It doesn't look like that red wire is going to the switch.
It is. It is. It is. Everything looks really nicely connected back there. Like
yeah, but I'm still seeing black on the little disc. Oh, I'm still seeing black on the little discs inside, even though you cleaned them with sandpaper. I'd like to see those at least not have any black on them.
Yes, I see some black. I see some black on the very
bright and shiny.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, anything
right
there, and then on the other one on the other side.
Those should be as shiny as a new penny.
They were getting blacker when I was using the sandpaper. So
well, then clean it off after you use the sandpaper. They should get shinier and shinier with the sandpaper.
They don't seem to be.
Every time those things get black, that's a sign of corrosion, and that means they're not making solid contact. So that's bad for passing electrical current.
We can also start thinking of some next steps, Creator, to continue, because we're going to be closing down the breakout rooms and having them report back quickly before we hit 10 o'clock here in Sweden, which is in 6 minutes. So just let's think about any other tips. And if you've got something that you want to write into the chat, because we'll be sending out in the Google group the chat transcript, so then you can see any advice that you might miss too.
And now it's actual black. Now it's just ruined looking.
No, clean it. Clean it with alcohol. It shouldn't be black. It shouldn't. It should be shiny. So
electronics you clean with alcohol, but you do need the sandpaper to get to be abrasive. And it might leave residue itself, but that residue should be more easy to remove with the alcohol than the buildup. All right, we're going to be having the others coming back now. So we have cleaning with alcohol as the next step as well to get off the sandpaper.
Cleaning with alcohol or carbon tetrachloride or anything that is handy, but alcohol will work.
Yep. And we can be writing in the chat anything there too, because we'll be sending out the chat, which might have things that we miss here right at the end.
Looks ruined. It looks ruined. That black is like the damage.
Oh, you mean the
You see
metal
it?
is coming off?
Yeah, you see it?
Uh-huh.
It's not like residue, it's damage.
Means the color from the metal is coming off.
Yeah, the copper. Yeah, it's as clean as it's gonna get. Like it's just an actual damage now. Okay.
Okay, try and put it down.
Weird. So is it possible it's not copper all the way through?
Very likely they're copper plated steel. That was the dodge for cheapness that a lot of manufacturers got away with. But it's also possible that they have some pitting going on.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Dave.
Sandeep, I'll write down what you can do in the chat. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
All right.
So that's we have welcome back everybody. So everyone's back in the rooms now. If you have any final advice to write down, the chat is still open. You can write down any final advice, any questions, and we can plan for any ongoing repairs for the next session as well. But I just want to make sure that we end after the 2 hours. So we had a really nice session here of a wide array of different devices and people's items that they brought from all over the world. So thank you for the participants and the great presenters. And thank you to all the repairers and in the breakout rooms. And please, anything else that you want to put into the chat, we will be sending out the chat transcript. So if there's anything that you might have missed, you can go back through and look through the chat. We'll also have the video of at least the presentations. We don't have video of the breakout rooms, but we have any video of reporting back as well. But thank you all for joining us. I'll just leave the session open a little while for those that are writing in the chat, but otherwise I want to formally conclude this session. And thanks to all of you for attending, and see you at the next repair event virtually. Bye.
Good job, everybody. Yay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I think we got ours working.
Sandeep, yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. So I've almost connected it. Now I'm just going to power it on.
Yeah, if it breaks without any other board connected, probably it's your power supply board. If it's not that, you start connecting each other board again and try the same thing, and it breaks. When you connected the board and then it breaks, you know that board is defective. Does that
So
make sense?
It braked.
Then it's your power supply board. Okay?
Okay.
It
Yeah.
has a number on it. The yellow board has a number on it.
Yeah.
It starts with EAX and then something else. I think something like that.
I have it.
You can look that up on eBay. I just looked at it. You can look that up on eBay and you can still find, but you have to find the exact same one. You can buy a replacement. I think they are quite reasonably priced.
And they are not
About $40.
Sorry?
About $20 to $40.
Correct.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
So
I found it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure now we are sure your power supply board is defective. And if you replace it, the chance is very high that your TV will work again.
Yes.
Thank you group for sharing what is happening. We were wondering.
No way to change it. Sorry?
I said we were almost finished troubleshooting when you closed the breakout room.
Yeah, it was hard. Nobody came to report back from TV, so I didn't know what was happening in TV.
Because we were not at the point yet to report.
But good that it seems like you've narrowed it down to what it was, and you know what part it is and how to replace it. So if you have that spare part, Sandeep, and if you want help putting that in, that's the next session. But thank you, and both of you, Frank and Olivia, for helping.
Okay. Yeah, Jessica, thanks again for organizing this. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Yeah, sorry for cutting you off too.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, no problem. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Jessica, could you please go to Chris in California with her fan? I think we fixed it, but I'm curious to know if it's really working.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Chris in California.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if we can unmute.
I think we need a round of applause for Chris for her first job.
So Peter, Brian, Danny, congratulations. You've managed to talk somebody who didn't know how to do this into being able to do this.
I would just say, Chris, congratulations to you too as well, and be careful when you close it up again. Be sure to unplug it before you start screwing everything back. So I'm glad it works, and as I mentioned, maybe with your fan we can stop global warming.
Okay.
Fans to cool down the planet.
Thanks, Frank and Danny. Yeah.
Chris,
Super,
you are a
good
real
job.
trooper. That's wonderful.
Good job soldering the fan group. Successful breakout. Yes. Sorry, I had to cut everybody short, but it was great to actually see these things on the main stage now, the final moments of the repairs. Very well done. Good job, group, and now good luck with the rest of the fan putting back together, Chris. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you. Ciao.
Tell all your friends about us.
Oh, believe me, I've shared the video so many times, my friends are getting tired of it.
But at least it will be cool when they visit you.
Yeah. Are there any other final comments? So I formally close the session, but I'll keep these final fixes in the video as well. But I just want to make sure that if there's anything else anybody wants to share.
If anybody is on YouTube, check out this guy named Jeremy Fielding. The guy is amazing. He's teaching you how to harvest stuff, and he's really got a great setup, and he shows everything along the way. And you should check him out. It would be great to have him come in and duck into one of these days.
All right. We have future repair session. We've got a theme. Cool. And any other ideas? So there's the Google groups that Peter's already directed, and most of you are on. So make sure that you're following that. We'll post the video. We'll post the chat. Anything else you want in the chat, get it in now. Anything else you want in the video, get it in now. Otherwise, I will be ending our video recording here and signing off here in Sweden. It is past 10, so we're off to bed in Europe. But wishing all of you in the US and elsewhere a very nice rest of your day and a start to your day in Australia.
Thank
you all for coming.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Just finished.
Thank you, Jessica, as always.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. I'm going to end the meeting. Looks like everybody got it all in, and I'll send the video to you. All right. Bye.